magnificent finish.
Can it be blazing speed again for a third win? Tony Cruz has 2 runners. John Moore has 5. The atmosphere is electric here down in the paddock, Jenny. We're only 20 or so minutes away from the Standard Chartered Champions and Chater Cup.
Yeah, very much looking forward to it. We don't have too many of these distance races throughout the season. We've only got 3 of them, in fact, at this type of level. So looking forward to it. And I did get a quick peek at my favourite horse, Blazing Speed. One of my favourite horses, Blazing Speed. He has been for a long time anyway, and he looks in really good order too.
Come up with a very short price favourite here, John. Eagle Ways $1.80.
Yeah, I can see why the punters like him, but he's got to improve officially quite a bit on the ratings to get past Werther and Blazing Speed, who hasn't been too far away in his races this season. So it's an interesting little contest. Really looking forward to it.
Of course, Eagle Ways is one of the new boys on the scene, I suppose, to a certain extent. If he were to win, is it a sort of a literal passing of the baton to the one of the newer boys on town?
Well, quite possibly. I mean, he's the Queensland Derby winner, isn't he? And he seems to be progressing really quite nicely. He's a very nice individual as well, so I'm interested to take another look at him as well. I think he's improved each time I've taken a look at him. Werther coming back from the blood in the trachea. Any concern there for you, Andrew, with him?
Well, I suppose there's always got to be concern with something like that, hasn't there? But the class is there, and the interesting thing that they're taking the headgear off, John, and going up in trip, I assume, just to help him settle a little bit.
Well, the trip shouldn't be a problem. Obviously, the issues are where's the pace going to be, and the fact that his very best form has always been with a little bit of cut in the ground. Not that today. So for me, he's still a worthy favourite. Well, he's not the favourite now, but he would be a worthy favourite for me if I was drawing up a market on it. And I think he's going to be tough to beat, but he's not totally bomb-proof.
All right. As far as the pace is concerned, I'm assuming it's going to be Basic Trilogy. They'll go out there and make the running.
Yeah, well, John's got the majority of runners in the race, and I would imagine Basic Trilogy would do exactly as you say, go to the front and be the pacemaker here.
Yeah, he's well over 100 to 1. Hard to see him holding on. The other big chances, though, Gold Mount, John. We touched him at the start of the show, but this 2,400 metres will be right up his street.
He's one of those horses here in Hong Kong that will definitely thrive on the 2,400. He doesn't get many chances to run this trip, but he's got it here today, as indeed has Hélène Charisma. Of course, very, very high-class form from France too. So they're getting their trips, these horses, today.
They are. And just a quick word, we couldn't not mention Designs on Rome, Jenny, former Derby winner.
Yes, it's a bit rude of us, really, isn't it? He's been such a great horse over the years. He's just been a little bit out of sorts, hasn't he, in the last year or so. So hopefully we can see the best of him back here today, but he'll need to lift on what he's been doing.
All right, there goes Werther. You chase him down. Paul will have a quick look at the market.
Designs on Rome at 63, Eagle Ways odds on at 1.8, 99 about Basic Trilogy, Hélène Charisma at 7.1, Gold Mount there at 7.7. But Werther's the first one we'll look at. Did have blood on the trachea last time, but he's a real fighter, this horse, and his work since has been pretty good. Blinkers come off.
Well, I think John's presented him looking as well as he possibly can. He's beautiful and alert. Every now and again in the parade, this fellow can get himself a little bit uptight and upset. But at the moment, walking out really, really fluently, bandaged on those bumpers there, coat's in absolutely superb condition. And I don't think he could be presented any better than that. I know that he's probably a much, much better horse with a little bit of give in the ground, but on presentation here, he looks a treat.
OK, the next is number 2, Blazing Speed, who, of course, has won this race twice already, Jenny. It wouldn't be a dry eye in the house if he did it for a third time.
Yes, where is he? Where's my boy? He's lovely and quiet and relaxed. 4 white legs there on him. There's often evidence of a little bit of treatment on those front legs, but that's been going on for a long, long time. He is getting on a bit. He's an 8-year-old, but he's still got what it takes. He hasn't been running badly. He's only been beaten short margins, and we know that he'll go forward. He's going to be up there on the pace. He should be out of trouble, and he looks in great order. He looks particularly well here today, so I think he'll give a really good sight.
Amazing price, really, isn't it? $13, about a 2-time winner. Comes here in form as well. But we move on to another champion, Designs on Rome. Huge price about him. If you can roll the clock back, he's $62.
Yep, look, he's only a little fella, and Designs on Rome has never been a total glamour in the parade, but his heart's huge, and we've seen him win on 10 occasions here in Hong Kong. He's been such a good horse over the years. His coat looks in pretty good order. He's got some really good strength in the shoulder there. He's not totally smooth in front, and he is bandaged on those joints as well. but he looks quite well. But oh boy, feeling well is Eagle Way.
Yeah, he's kicking out spectacularly. The crowd.
Olays from the crowd. It's like been a football match.
Yeah, well, he's certainly misbehaving ever so slightly, Eagle Way. I think it's fair to say, but we can see him next, Jenny. He seems to have calmed down now. How's he looking?
Well, they put another handler on him, and it didn't take long for him just to calm down there. Quite noisy around the parade here today, so that might have just set him off. He's not normally like that. He's normally fairly quiet, but he's quite tense and nervous, and anything's just setting him off at the moment. So you just need to relax a little bit. He's really fit and really healthy. So we'll just keep an eye on him and see if he calms down a fraction. I would expect that he will. It's a bit out of character for him.
Yeah, he looks a little bit happier now, though. And well, he's the favourite, $1.90. This is Basic Trilogy. We assume he'll go out in front and left alone. I suppose it wouldn't be the first time something's nicked it from the front, but he's got it all to do here.
Well, he has, and he'd need to lift a fair bit. He's off the rating of 101, so it's going to be a task for him. The horse is a very calm and relaxed type, and he's always a horse that does tend to carry a little bit of condition as well. But he's solid and strong, and he's healthy enough in his coat. I think he's parading, he's walking out nicely enough as well. Always looks like he could do with a run just because he carries that excess condition, but a lovely horse. So he'll give a bit of a sight. I don't think he's good enough, but he'll give a sight.
14th run of the season for Basic Trilogy. Be a good time to get off the mark as well, wouldn't it? The number 6 is Helene Charisma. We were talking about this fella's form in France, Jenny, and he seems to be warming to the task here in Hong Kong.
Yep, weighing in at 1,091 pounds here today. He's behaving himself nicely. Of course, he is an entire. He's a fit, very, very fit-looking horse, and he does appear to be in particularly good health. He's slightly warm, but I wouldn't be overly concerned about that. It's relative to the hot day that we've got here. I think he looks good. I was a little concerned that he wanted to lay in last time. That's my worry with the horse, but he looks good.
Just leaves us with one more, and that's Gold Mount. You excuse the Derby run. The form looks pretty solid outside of that, with a win on debut and then a staying on third behind Eagle Way.
Yeah, Gold Mount, he's only a little horse, 975 pounds for him. But he has, when I say little, he sort of lacks a bit of scope. And he's a bit on the plain side as well. His coat looks in pretty good order, still a little bit wintry. Will never carry much condition because he's only small or slight, but walking out well enough. And he's a horse that, even though he's not the most glamorous, I think he's got a bit of an engine there. So he's an interesting runner. He won't make it into the top 4. There are better types here, but I'm interested to see how he measures up here.
Yeah, Sylvester de Souza will be riding if you're up in the UK and watching. Of course, when he was Primitivo, he won the King George V handicap at Royal Ascot. So he has that 1.5 mile form. That there can be no doubt. The horses now about to be united with their jockeys ahead of the Standard Charters Champions and Chater Cup. Be going out very shortly. Paul, how's that market looking?
Yeah, I'll just go through the runners. Nothing much has changed at this stage. They're still at 3.2. Blazing Speed at 13. Designs on Rome, he's at 58. Eagle Way continues to be the favourite, but just drifted out from 1.8 out to 1.9. Basic Trilogy is over 100 to 1. Helene Charisma there at 7.2. And Gold Mount, he's just coming a little bit. The bottom one, he's into 6.8. Sylvester de Souza aboard. So just the 7 runners, and the favourite way in the Quinella is the 1 and 4 Werther and Eagle Way at this stage, with those two returning, or the Quinella's returning $3 currently.
And there's the favourites. Eagle Way looks much happier now, Jenny. Excuse him those antics.
It's a little out of character for him. I did notice, just a moment ago, he's really quite tense. He's just looking out for anything that's going on, which is not normally what he's about. He normally throws those front feet out really quietly and sort of flicks them as such, and he's normally quite relaxed. So, as I said, a little out of character for him. On top for me from the parade, I'm going to have to go with the top weight here, Werther. Gee, he looks well. I think that's probably as good as I've ever seen him. I would prefer a bit of cut in the ground for him, but the horse paraded beautifully. So Werther on top of Blazing Speed. He looks lovely and alert here today as well. He looks a treat, and we know he's been there and done that. He might be able to do it all again. I thought the 6 Helene Charisma paraded particularly well. He's really fit, just slightly warm around the flank area, but he's very, very fit looking. And then the 4 goes in next best, Eagle Way, just because of his antics. I think he's a very strong chance in the race, but he looks healthy enough, and now he has come down a fair bit more, so back to normal.
Yes, absolutely, and his best turnout is well Werther, and he is the pick from the yard. 1, 2, 6 and 4. 1, 2, 6 and 4 in the Sever Runner Standard Chartered Champions and Chater Cup as they make their way onto the track. Even with a small field, Brett, with 4 selections, you're leaving out some very nice horses.
Absolutely, Andrew. Yes, I'm going to leave out Blazing Speed, but I'm not happy about it because he's been such a wonderful horse for such a long time. Already a 2-time winner of this event we're about to witness, the Champions and Chater of 2017. Just going to go here with Helene Charisma. You've touched already on the form that he had from France. A very nice horse. He hasn't been here in Hong Kong all that long. He was sort of rushed a little bit to try and get to the Derby and so forth, and obviously it didn't quite work out for him. He drew barrier number 14 in the Derby, but ran a great race behind Rapid Dragon. Since then, he stepped to 2200 and up to the 1.5 miles of 2400 last start when he finished second behind Eagle Way in the Queen Mother Memorial Cup. The thing I like most about that run, yes, I know he did a lot wrong, but looking at it from a positive side, if he does a lot right today, then maybe there's a little bit more to come. So I'm just going to side with him. I think he's got the potential to step up to the standard or set weights or weight for age, whichever way you want to go with it. He'll get his opportunity today. So I'm happy to go with him over number 1, Werther, who's got the score on the board. He ran a great third in this race last year. He's the current horse of the year, and as Jenny suggested, he looks terrific. Eagle Way gets his chance as well to stand up to weight for age set weights today, and he's in red hot form. And then number 7, Gold Mount, he closed off as well behind Eagle Way. Probably wanted a little bit of cushion in the track. He's not going to get that, but he's another horse that's come from overseas that looks to have some high-class potential. That's leaving out Blazing Speed. I think any one of those 5 can actually win it. I think Designs on Rome has shown in the past a magnificent horse over a long period, but his legs are just not taking him along as quick as they used to, and I think Basic Trilogy's clearly outclassed. 6, 1, 4, 7 looks a great race.
Does indeed. I'm going to go with Werther. I think he's the class horse. He's the 5-year-old. I think he's got the edge over these 4-year-olds. He's been running well. We did have an excuse last time behind Neorealism. The race wasn't really run to suit him on that occasion. I think Basic Trilogy will make sure that it is here. The blinkers come off, 2,400 metres, no problem. Did win the Queen Mother. I know everyone says he's a better horse with cut in the ground, but look, he won the Derby on a good track, and he's also won a couple of good start races here on a good track as well. So Werther on top to beat Eagle Way. He's the young pretender coming through as the 4-year-old, and was a good win last time against the horses here in the Queen Mother Memorial. So him in for second. Helene Charisma should have beaten, well, he looked like he was going to beat Eagle Way in that race, but just didn't go through with it. So I just questioned that about him, but he's definitely got plenty of ability. And Gold Mountain was interesting to hear Tony Cruz in that interview suggested a yielding track would be better for him, but I still think he can run well. 1, 4, 6, 7.
Yeah, I've got the one on top as well. Not too concerned about the ground. The 2,400 metres either was beaten at a driving finish by Blazing Speeds, and we may well get a similar sort of scenario this afternoon. I've got Blazing Speed in for 3rd spot. I think Eagle Way might just be popping for the runner-up position, being on the improve. He's even money now, Eagle Way. I certainly would have been taking odds on about him. And Gold Mount, I've got a lot of time for this horse. Group 1 for the first time. Made up a lot of ground behind Gold Mount, Helene Charisma last time out. And I think he's still improving. He's come a long way in a very short time here in Hong Kong. I'm leaving out Helene Charisma. I'll go with 1, 4, 2 and 7, John.
Yeah, same trio for me. Werther on top. Yeah, he wasn't beaten very far in this race last year. And things didn't really go as planned for him in the Audemars Piguet QE2 Cup, but he still ran a very good race, and I think with a more of an even gallop he should still manage to get the job done here, and I think he's out to a really rather attractive price at $3.10. The 4 in there for second, Eagle Way, is clearly the type who's going to do very well here in Hong Kong over the longer trips. The last 2 runs would definitely show that, but he's got to find 19 ratings points with Werther officially, and that might not be the easiest thing to do in one fell swoop here this afternoon, but he has to go in. Blazing Speed, he's got to go in for 3rd as well. Wouldn't be out of the question that he could win this, and he's, well, no surprise, he was $13, he's now into $11, and he's $1.70 on a place line. He was slightly bigger than 2s on a place line about 10 minutes ago. That was really good value, but it's been snaffled now. And I've got the 6 in there for 4th, Helene Charisma, the Grand Prix de Paris winner over this distance back last year. That was on not a desperately soft surface, but a soft enough surface. like most French horses, he does most of his running on a softer ground than this, but he's done all right since he's come to Hong Kong. He's taken a while to get going, but he's certainly now given the idea that he will be able to mix it in this sort of company, so he goes in there as well. But 1, 4 and 2 looks a pretty good trio to me.
I've gone with the 1 as well on top here, Werther. I thought he paraded absolutely superbly here today. Obviously, that blood in the trachea is a bit of a concern from last time, but he is well drawn. He's the highest rated horse in the race, and I would expect him to be really quite competitive once again. The 2 Blazing Speed looks really well. The 8-year-old, he's holding his condition beautifully. He's dropped 4 pounds since the last time he raced. He's been not far off winning, and he won it last year in a head bobber, so he might be able to do it again. The 6 Helene Charisma looks good. He's yet to win in Hong Kong, but the horse looks particularly fit, slightly warm, but other than that, I liked his fitness level, and he's a Group 1 winner overseas in St. Cloud, actually, so he's more than capable. And then the 4, Eagle Way, misbehaved. I think it was because he basically got a fright and it sort of set him off a little bit, but that late parade of his was really quite good. Back to normal, just flicking those fetlocks when he walks, and he's a very fit, healthy-looking horse going into this as well. So 1, 2, 6 and 4 for me.
All right, arriving down at the start. We're still a couple of minutes away. There's Basic Trilogy on screen. We'll just take another quick check of the markets. The final couple of betting minutes still to go, Paul.
Yes, it is, and $2 now for Eagle Way. He's on the drift. He's now odds against it, even money there. But Werther's been steady the whole way through at 3.1. Blazing Speed's come in. Now he's into 11. The 14 did look a bit high for him, so he's now come into $11.70 a place. Lane Charisma's at 7.3. Gold Mount has drifted back out to 7. Then we have 55 about Designs on Rome, and well over 101. The likely pacemaker in the race, Basic Trilogy.
And there he is, Basic Trilogy. Looks like he'll be the last to arrive down at the start, so we expect him to go out in front. We shouldn't forget, though, Joe was very positive, wasn't he, on Eagle Way a couple of starts back when he wasn't happy with the pace and kicked on a long way from home to try and make it into a real test.
Well, that's true, and because we've got a very small field here as well, there's always a chance that there is going to be a move made just to upset the apple cart as such, and we see it on numerous occasions, so I wouldn't be surprised if that was to happen here today as well. It's a shame we've only got the 7 runners here, but you know, a lot of those other horses like Donoso and Prawn Barber, those sort of horses, if they go in off their rating and they run a 5th or something, they go up a lot of points, so it's difficult.
Yeah, it was a real good stoush, wasn't it, between Eagle Way and Beauty Generation, that race a couple of starts ago. As Andrew said, he had to make his own luck in the end, Eagle Way, and he almost managed to get the job done. It was a really tremendous effort in defeat, and there he is, and he's back into odds on again now, $1.90. Joe Moreira, of course, had a terrific afternoon already and looking for a 4th win on the card.
And speaking of mid-race moves or making a test out of it, a bit of a stretch and a leap of faith, but Designs on Rome, yeah. He gets carried out on his shields more than not, doesn't he? And wouldn't be surprised to see him take off at the 800 either.
Well, he's capable too,
yeah.
if he's right. That's a big query. I mean, we haven't seen the best of him for quite some time now, but if he's right, we know what sort of finish he's got and how much sort of sustainability in a finish he's got as well. So it'd be great to see the real designs back.
Basic Trilogy, Designs on Rome, Gold Mount, Eagle Way and Helene Charisma. John Moore with 5 runners, Tony Cruz with 2. Blazing Speed looking to win his 3rd Champions and Shader. All set to go. Favourite Eagle Way at $1.90, and they're off and running in the Standard Chartered Champions and Shader Cup, and Basic Trilogy stepped beautifully, as did the 8-year-old Blazing Speed, who's quickly into 2nd position. Werther was away nicely down on the rail, and Gold Mount began quite well today. He's going to settle in 4th position early, trailed by Helene Charisma. Designs on Rome, and Eagle Way from barrier number 7, Joe Moreira, has snagged him back to the tail end of the field. They come down past the judge with a circuit to go here at Sha Tin, and the leader is Basic Trilogy, striding by 2 lengths to Blazing Speed. 2 further back to Werther, who's now in 3rd position. The first 3 are an Indian file. Make that the first 4 now as Gold Mount gets into a similar type of position. Then Helene Charisma from Designs on Rome, who's able to stick with them in the early stages of the race today. And Eagle Way is settled at the tail of the field. They're inside the mile marker, and Basic Trilogy, as most expected, is showing the way. Leads by 2.5 lengths over Blazing Speed, looking for his 3rd Champions and Shader this afternoon. Two further back to the reigning Horse of the Year, Werther, in third position as the leader ups the ante somewhat. Two further back then to Gold Mount. 2.5 further away then to Helene Charisma from Eagle Way. And two last of all is Designs on Rome. They are in single file. There's 15 lengths from top to bottom. They've gone inside the halfway point. And Basic Trilogy striding by 3.5 lengths to Blazing Speed. Two further back to Werther, who settled nicely in the run. Now Gold Mount comes off the rail, allowing Eagle Way to improve to the inside. Helene Charisma and Designs on Rome is at the tail end of the field, and now there's only 6 lengths from top to bottom as Basic Trilogy runs inside the 800 in the Standard Chartered Champions and Chater Cup at 2017. 2.5 clear. Blazing Speed has been stalking all the way. Werther, Bowman now pulls him out 3 deep to put in his run. Eagle Way's been creeping through nearer the rail as the race hots up. Then Gold Mount, Designs on Rome. Helene Charisma is the trailer. They're into the straight, and Neil Callan lays his cards on the table as he takes on Basic Trilogy. But Werther is right up to the task, and he sweeps to the lead, getting past Blazing Speed. Deeper out Eagle Way, then Gold Mount, Helene Charisma inside the furlong. Werther bloke clear from Blazing Speed, then Eagle Way. But Werther, the Horse of the Year, is roaring away with the Champions and Chater from Blazing Speed and Eagle Way. How sweet it is, Werther. Werther wins by 2.5. Maybe Eagle Way second over Blazing Speed. A long gap away, Helene Charisma, Gold Mount, Designs on Rome and Basic Trilogy. Werther showing his true power today on a good to firm track. Defeats Eagle Way and Blazing Speed. Helene Charisma a distant fourth. 5 wins from 11 starts now for Werther. The 5-year-old by Tavistock out of the Zabeel mare Bag of Lollies. John Moore, Hugh Bowman. Possibly Eagle Way second over Blazing Speed. There's very little in that. Helene Charisma a distant fourth from Gold Mount, then Basic Trilogy and Designs on Rome. But Werther travelled very comfortably in the run. He had the score on the board at set weights, and he has annihilated them. Fantastic performance. A Derby winner, a QE2 Cup winner, now a Champions and Chater Cup winner. Werther. Blazing Speed. All set to go. Favourite Eagle Way at $1.90, and they're off and running in the Standard Chartered Champions and Chater Cup, and Basic Trilogy stepped beautifully, as did the 8-year-old Blazing Speed, who's quickly into second position. Werther was away nicely down on the rail, and Gold Mount began quite well today. He's going to settle in fourth position early, trailed by Helene Charisma. Designs on Rome, and Eagle Way from barrier number 7, Joe Moreira, has snagged him back to the tail end of the field. They come down past the judge with a circuit to go here at Sha Tin, and the leader is Basic Trilogy, striding by 2 lengths to Blazing Speed. 2 further back to Werther, who's now in third position. The first 3 are an Indian file. Make that the first 4 now as Gold Mount gets into a similar type of position. Then Helene Charisma from Designs on Rome, who's able to stick with them in the early stages of the race today, and Eagle Way is settled at the tail of the field. They're inside the mile marker, and Basic Trilogy, as most expected, is showing the way. Leads by 2.5 lengths over Blazing Speed, looking for his third Champions and Chater this afternoon. 2 further back to the reigning Horse of the Year, Werther, in third position as the leader ups the ante somewhat. 2 further back then to Gold Mount. 2.5 further away then to Helene Charisma from Eagle Way, and 2 last of all is Designs on Rome. They are in single file. There's 15 lengths from top to bottom. They've gone inside the halfway point, and Basic Trilogy striding by 3.5 lengths to Blazing Speed. 2 further back to Werther, who settled nicely in the run. Now Gold Mount comes off the rail, allowing Eagle Way to improve to the inside. Helene Charisma and Designs on Rome is at the tail end of the field, and now there's only 6 lengths from top to bottom as Basic Trilogy runs inside the 800 in the Standard Chartered Champions and Chater Cup at 2017. 2.5 clear. Blazing Speed has been stalking all the way. Werther, Bowman now pulls him out 3 deep to put in his run. Eagle Way's been creeping through nearer the rail as the race hots up. Then Goldmount Designs on Rome. Helene Charisma is the trailer. They're into the straight, and Neil Callan lays his cards on the table as he takes on Basic Trilogy. But Werther is right up to the task, and he sweeps to the lead, getting past Blazing Speed. Deeper out Eagle Way, then Goldmount, Helene Charisma inside the furlong. Werther bloke clear from Blazing Speed, then Eagle Way. But Werther, the horse of the year, is roaring away with the champions and Chater from Blazing Speed and Eagle Way. How sweet it is, Werther. Werther wins by 2.5.
Certainly does, very little doubt about that. It was a really authoritative display, and it was tight for second, but in the end Blazing Speed has now got a second in this race to put on his CV with his 2 wins as well, so good effort from him.
Look, he put up a fine performance, didn't he? In fact, on the line there, I thought he had just got beaten for that second position, but not to be, so he's picked up the second prize money there, $2.2 million as well. But well done to John Moore. Hugh Bowman, fantastic ride there from him. John's just presented this horse looking absolutely outstanding. Oh, there we go. And everyone's happy.
Absolutely, there you go.
It's another My Darling moment.
Absolutely. Why wouldn't you be after a victory like that? It was a tremendous performance. A horse who, of course, won the Hong Kong Gold Cup earlier on this season as well, so he's won 2 legs of the Triple Crown this season, and he's been pretty close in defeat the times he hasn't been in front either. So he's had a fantastic season, and this is really the icing on the cake. And we were talking earlier on about where he might go after this. Well, we'll look with bated breath as to what might happen next year as far as either going abroad or staying here. Just through those dividends, Paul, the winner, he's returned a very nice price.
He definitely has. $30.50 and $13. $19.50 for second, $11 there for third. The Quinella 1 and 2, $88.50. The trio 1, 2, 4, $58. 1, 2, 4, $314. Quinella places 1 and 2, $29.50. 1 and 4, $16, and 2 and 4, $30, and the class prevails.
Certainly did. And Eagle Way, he was quite a long way back in the run. The times, the sectional times are interesting here, Jenny, because they went pretty slow first up, but all the while Derek Leung aboard Basic Trilogy was just quickening it up, and in the end they went a pretty solid gallop, and that's probably suited Werther, probably suited Eagle Way as well, but Werther had first run on him.
He did, and he had to come 3 wide just coming around that home turn, but Hugh obviously knew that there was a strong enough engine underneath him, because I like the way he just pinned the ears back, and he really got to the line really strongly. It was like he was very, very determined to win. And where he goes from here, well, we've got Andrew Lejeune down there and Edward Sadler to find out what they might have in plan.
Indeed, yep, there's Hugh Bowman giving his trusty partner a kiss. More kisses going on here, all over the place today. And he just hops back on board for all the obligatory photographs. They have now weighed in as well. We'll bring you all the rest of the dividends very shortly. This fella, of course, he came with the Hong Kong Derby in mind for last year. He won that. And then he won the Audemars Piguet QE2 Cup. He couldn't win this race last year. Things didn't quite go to plan 12 months ago. But this year, he's won the Hong Kong Gold Cup, and he's taken out this big prize as well. There's news on the DT for races 6 and 7, $11,056 if you got that.
The Gold Cup win was quite a good one too, wasn't it? Because he was hemmed up on the turn there, and he was able to extract himself out of that position and go on and win the race. It was a really strong performance, but I don't think I've ever seen him look better than he has today, this fellow. So he's absolutely glowing, and you can see he's a rather happy horse. He's you know, his personality is quite indifferent. He can go quite sour on occasions, but today in a good mood, and he's done it in style.
Yep, he was top of your top 4 on the parade ring. He was the best turned out, and he's won the race as well. So it's been a bit of a fillip for Team Werther here this afternoon. And there's the presentation taking place outside the in front of the winning post, with the Moore team justifiably very proud of their stable star.
Helene Charisma, John, he got well back. He finished off the race okay, finished in 4th position. Of course, John had the 1st, 3rd and 4th finishes there as well, so all credit to him. Of course, Tony Cruz with Blazing Speed.
Yep, he was the only horse that was able to split the Moore runners there here this afternoon. John Moore in the blue safari suit today, just checking everything's okay with Werther, and a handshake for Hugh Bowman. The pair of them have struck up quite a combination over these last couple of years. Whenever Hugh Bowman comes to ride a John Moore horse on one of these big weekends, they generally do pretty well.
A world-class jockey, no doubt about it here. He's just riding extraordinarily well in Australia, and whenever he comes here, it's rare that he goes home without a winner as well.
Remember, he came to Britain many years ago, and he rode quite a few winners there too, so he knows what he's doing, very versatile jockey, and he's having a marvellous time of things on his visits here to Hong Kong in 2016-17.
Yeah, the stats show that that he is the best leading rider. Him and Craig Williams that come up, they have got really good statistics when they come here, and that's why. I mean, they're both world-class riders, and a really good run from Werther. He hasn't had the races run to suit, and the race was run perfectly to suit there with a Basic Trilogy rolling along, and then we saw the best of them.
Of course, next week we will see Craig Williams in action as well, because Joe Moreira and Zach Purton will be over in Japan, and Craig will be here in Hong Kong.
He will. It's going to be a big afternoon's racing both here and over in Japan. But this is Werther taking out the third leg of the Hong Kong Triple Crown.
Ladies and gentlemen, the trophy presentation of the Standard Chartered Champions and Chater Cup will now commence.
Ladies and gentlemen, the champion of the Standard Chartered Champions and Chater Cup final leg of the Hong Kong Triple Crown is Werther. Congratulations! May we now invite our club steward, Mr. Michael Lee, to present the Standard Chartered Champions and Chater Cup main trophy and gold-plated dish to winning owner Johnson Chen, winning horse Werther. 我哋本會董事李子厚先生現正咧就將渣打冠軍暨遮打杯嘅主杯同埋鍍金碟分別頒俾我哋勝出頭馬明月千里嘅馬主程海順㗎。咁啊，程太咧就代表接受。May Mr. Michael Lee continue to present a gold-plated dish each to the winning trainer John Moore and jockey Hugh Bowman. 繼續我哋有請董事李子厚先生啦，就係將鍍金碟咧分別頒俾我哋勝出頭馬嘅練馬師約翰摩亞啦，咁而家係頒俾我哋嘅勝出騎師布文㗎。Thank you, Mr. Lee. May we now invite Mr. Benjamin Hong, Regional CEO, Greater China and North Asia of Standard Chartered Bank Hong Kong Limited, to present a souvenir to winning owner, Mr. Johnson Chen. 咁而家咧，渣打銀行香港有限公司大中華及北亞地區行政總裁洪丕正先生就將紀念品致送咧俾我哋勝出頭馬嘅馬主程海順先生嘅代表㗎。Thank you, Mr. Hong. May we now invite Ms. Mary Hoon, CEO, Standard Chartered Bank Hong Kong Limited, to present a souvenir to our winning trainer, John Moore. 渣打銀行香港有限公司行政總裁禤慧儀女士咧就啱啱咧就頒發咗呢個紀念品俾我哋勝出嘅練馬師約翰摩亞先生嘅。Thank you, Ms. Hoon. Let's invite Mr. Benjamin Hong once again to present a souvenir to our winning jockey, Mr. Hugh Bowman. 再次咧就有請洪丕正先生咧就為我哋致送紀念品俾勝出頭馬嘅騎師布文㗎。咁我哋嘅騎師咧亦都會係致送花束俾禤女士嘅。So a beautiful bouquet of flowers. Thank you very much. Congratulations once again. Let's all take a group photo. 我哋一齊影返幅大合照先。Huge congratulations once again to Werther, winning the second and final leg of the Hong Kong Triple Crown. Let's take a photo together. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the trophy presentation. Congratulations once again to our winning owner, trainer and jockey. 2017年度渣打冠軍暨遮打杯嘅頒獎儀式咧嚟到呢度已經係圓滿結束啦。恭喜晒咁多位，我哋下次再見，拜拜。
Okay, well, there's the presentation. Many congratulations to all concerned. And there's a very, very happy Hugh Bowman with a very willing partner in the shape of Werther. And there's the owner, Johnson Chen, who's got another big cheque to bank this evening.
It was a fantastic performance there, never in doubt, a big winning margin as well, 3 lengths.
There you go. If you were on Werther or you got the exotics up, you'll want to relive your, well, 2.5 minutes of glory practically. And Basic Trilogy, this was the key to this race. I think there was no funny business here like there was in the Audemars Piguet QE2 Cup, where they went very, very slow early on. first sectional was quite pedestrian here, 26.77, but Derek Young has just increased the pace ever so slightly with every fraction. 25.9 to the second call, then 25.54 to the third, which is actually under standard, and then 25.19 to the fourth call, which is around about standard. So in the end, they've been quite nicely stretched out, you'll see, as they go towards the far side of the track. There was quite big spaces between each of the runners, and that's definitely suited Werther. He probably would have found a way to win anyway, however the race had been run, given his class, but there's just been an extra little helping factor for him here. It was Basic Trilogy that led as they went down the far side. He was 2 to 3 lengths to the good over Blazing Speed in second. Then we had the eventual winner, Werther, in third. Gold Mount was racing on his own there in fourth. Then Helene Charisma, Eagle Way, quite a long way back in the run. And then Designs on Rome, who was right at the rear, as he often is in these situations. So as they made their way inside the final 1400, it was, well, a case of single file. They were just ambling along, but as I say, the pace was just being increased by Derek Young aboard Basic Trilogy. Blazing Speed in second. He's run a really good race again here, but as they turned for home, he was always travelling second best to Werther. He was just getting a nice little run in Blazing Speed slipstream. Then Gold Mount just on the outside there in the orange jacket. Then on the inside, Eagle Way got a little bit closer by now, just closer to Werther as far as he was concerned. And then Helene Charisma, right at the back of the field, Designs on Rome, who was struggling as they went round the turns. This beginning to bunch up here. Basic Trilogy led by about a couple of lengths to Blazing Speed. It was here now that Werther was just peeled out as they went round the bend, always travelling very strongly. Then Eagle Way up the inside, 1 or 2 distress flares being fired off by Gold Mount. The whip now drawn aboard Designs on Rome. Helene Charisma still travelling strongly, but a bit to do as they turned for home. It was here that Basic Trilogy then cried enough. Blazing Speed drew alongside, but it was hard work to do so, whereas the eye was always drawn to Werther, travelling very smoothly and strongly. And in the end, Hugh Bowman didn't have to do a huge amount to really get him to let down. He's got to the front under hand riding there. And in the end, he's just been shaken up a couple of times. Little love taps there from the saddle, but nothing too dramatic. And the horse has found plenty and gone on to win. It was a good stoush for second. In the end, though, Blazing Speed has gone out on his shield, just defeating Eagle Way into third there. And Helene Charisma was fourth. Sectionals on screen, 26.77, 25.9, 25.54, 25.19, 23.49, 22.37, 2 minutes 29.26. Well, welcome back to the parade ring. The really good racing doesn't stop yet, though. Jenny got a really good sprint now to enjoy.
Yeah, very much looking forward to the Sha Tin Vase right here. A number of them already in the parade as well. And I just had a look at Magic Legend, who's very short in the market as well. He looks in terrific order, but we've got some very nice young horses here. We've also got some ones that have been around for a little while. So I'm interested to see how they go. Handicap conditions, so much more different situation here.
Yep, so we'll let Jenny get off and run the rule over all these. It's a very interesting race, as Jenny was saying, because this is under handicap conditions, whereas the previous race where a lot of these horses ran in the Chairman's Sprint Prize was a set weight race. We've got a bit of an all-up scenario going through here, Paul.
Yeah, take a breath there, John. Number 3, not listening to me, coming to 5.7, one of the John Moore runners. But Mr. Stunning, he's currently at 2.2. He's the favourite, hot favourite actually. Amazing Kids 47, not listening to me, 5.7. The Wizard of Oz at 9.2. Sun Jury's at 51. Lucky Year at 74. DB Pin at 6. 60 about Fabulous 1. 4.3. Magic Legend 73 about Strathmore. That's the field for race number 8. The number 1, the first one on screen there, is Mr. Stunning. Now, he's the young and up-and-coming sprinter here in Hong Kong, but has got the big weight, so the conditions are against him. Barrier 10, but how does he look other than that, Jenny?
Yeah, look, he looks well. Nothing wrong with him. He's only a small horse. He only weighs in 1,096. In fact, he looks a little bit smaller than that. So he's a bit deceiving on the eye in that respect. But he's such a calm and relaxed horse. His coat looks terrific. He could not be any fitter than how he presents here as well. So the big question is whether or not he can win this with 133 on his back from gate 10. He does have Joe Moreira to offset a number of those situations, but he is really fit and fluent and healthy and well, so I can't knock him.
Next one, Jenny's number 2, Amazing Kids. I'll give this fellow a good chance today. He's certainly a massive price at the moment at $47. How's he looking?
Well, John Size must have started to settle all these up yesterday because he's got 5 runners in the race. This is another one of them, Amazing Kids. Quite different type, this fellow. He's a tall, rangy, strong individual, but another very, very calm horse from the John Size yard. Walking out really casually. He looks good, his coat's healthy, and I do like his overall strength. He's a horse that has got some good talent, so wouldn't be surprised to see some of it here today either. Gate 9, 131 pounds, though. It's a tough assignment against some of these lighter weighted horses, but the horse does look good.
Yeah, I've got him in as my long shot for the meeting, Amazing Kids. The next is number 3, Not Listening to Me. Jenny, another sprinter who's been doing the rounds here in high-class races in Hong Kong.
Yeah, look, he's not the most smooth walking horse in front, but that's been the case for a long, long time, so I'm not overly concerned about that. He's a pretty good horse on his day. He's a really stocky, sprinting type. He's only small, but he's got plenty of power about him, particularly in the chest and shoulder and those hind quarters. So, you know, he never really stands out, but I think he looks good by his standards.
OK, the next one, Jenny's number 4, the Wizard of Oz, who was 4th in the Chairman's Sprint Prize last time out.
Well, he was the first horse to be settled up from the John Size yard. He came in here rather early, but he is so calm and relaxed. He also walks out really nicely. He looks fit and healthy, and I think he will give it a bit of a sight here. I think the horse looks as well as he can.
Yeah, he's been running well of late, and there's definitely plenty of ability there with number 4, the Wizard of Aussie, currently getting $9.40 about him. That's horse number 4. The bell has sounded. The jockeys will be getting on board very shortly for the Sha Tin Vase. Horse number 5, I should say, is Sun Jewelry, of course, the winner of 2 legs of the 4-year-old series last season. Not a huge amount this time round, but he did stay on well last time out in the Chairman's Sprint Prize.
He did. It was a much better effort from Sun Jewelry, and we know he's a really capable horse, a winner of 7 races in his career, but his recent form hasn't been as good as we know he's capable of. Now, the horse is another extremely laid-back, relaxed horse from the Size yard. He looks really fit and very, very healthy, walking out nicely too, so there's nothing wrong with him either.
It's number 6. Number 5, Sun Jewelry. Number 6 is the one we'll be coming to next. Lucky Year. Good ride for young Callan Murray.
Yep, Lucky Year. He's always been a nice type. He's got himself just a little bit tense in the parade here and started to split up just marginally behind. He's not totally smooth walking behind. He's a little bit stiff in that area. Has been on numerous occasions, so that's not new. But he looks in pretty good health, and I don't mind him. I think he looks well. Yep,
that's Lucky Year, who is a 7-time winner from 21 starts here in Hong Kong. That's not a record to be sniffed at. The next is DB Pin, who's won 5 of his 8 starts, second on 3 occasions as well. He's a young sprinter on the way up.
He really is. 8 quinellas in his last 8 starts, so he is a very consistent and good horse, DB Pin. He is very athletic as well, a bit of size about him and plenty of scope as well. He looks as fit as he could possibly be. Another one walking out nicely and beautifully behaved, so he also looks very well.
Yep, he's a very, very promising type of that. There can be very little doubt whatsoever. That's horse number 7, DB Pin. And getting a nice long look at him too. This is Fabulous One, of course, who's been on his travels this season, but he is probably a pretty good pace angle in this race.
Yeah, well, he went over to Dubai and it was an unsuccessful trip there. He has got himself rather warm. He's also sweating up a fair bit, and he's just getting himself a bit agitated as well. So I'm going to prefer others on looks. He's a lovely individual, but he has got warm and agitated, so it's just a little bit of a turn off.
Number 8, Fabulous One, who in this race last year went off pretty quickly, and well, theory is he might do that again here and make it a fairly strong run race. We'll find out. Magic Legend is another young sprinter like DB Pin, who's been in terrific form so far and still his fledgling career.
He only weighs in at 1,033 pounds, this fellow, but he's actually put on some weight, and it sort of shows, and it's in a good way as well, because he's only a young horse, so I think he's just filling out a little bit as time's going on. He looks stronger. His coat's absolutely superb. He probably lacks a little bit of scope, but he's really fit and he's beautifully behaved as well, and he does walk out nice and freely, so he still looks good.
So that's Magic Legend, who's very much in the market for this. He's a $3.90 chance, $1.40 on a place line. And we have Strathmore next, another horse who, well, he's got some good form if you look back far enough for it. Vincent Ho rides for Tony Millard.
Yeah, look, he's not your typical sprinting type, Strathmore, but he is a good sprinter on his day. He's won a number of races, 5 in fact, over the 1,000 and the 1,200. So he is a capable enough horse. Whether or not he's good enough here, I'm not sure. But he always parades nicely. He's a scopy type. He's beautifully behaved. He still walks out well, and he looks in good order. So I certainly can't put the pen through him. He's well.
Yeah, like a lot of Tony Millard horses, he's turned out exceptionally well in the parade ring. So they're making their way out of the yard now onto the track. We'll get Jenny to get a top 4 sorted out. There are a lot of very nice looking horses there, so it won't be easy for her. Meantime, Paul will give us a rundown on the market.
Yeah, thanks very much, John. Mr. Stunning there at 2.3 is still the steady favourite at this stage. Magic Legend at 3.9. He's the second favourite. DB Pin at 6. Not Listening to Me at 6.2. And the Wizard of Oz at 9.2. They're the ones in single figures at this stage. There's a big jump after that to the outsiders. Fabulous One at 48. 46 about Sun Jewelry. 46 about Amazing Kids. So some big, good horses going out at big prices here for this particular race. Race number 8. Looking forward to that. The Sha Tin Vase.
All right, so the horse is leaving the yards, which means we need the top 4, Jen.
All right, number 4 on top for me. He was the first horse into the parade, the Wizard of Oz. I thought he paraded beautifully, and he's probably the fresh legs going into this as well. He looked an absolute treat. I loved his laid-back attitude. His coat looks fantastic. He was walking out beautifully, and a ride for Chad Schofield here. So the 4 goes on top for me. From number 9, Magic Legend. He's a nice young horse. He'll even be more developed next season, I think, but he's still getting stronger with each run, and his form's been very, very good. He's won 4 out of his 5. I'd expect another good run from him. Another one with a really good nature about him as well. The 7, DB Pin, looks good from the John Size yard, 113 pounds on his back. He's a lovely individual. Hard not to like him. And then the 1, Mr. Stunning. Well, poor little Mr. Stunning, he's got to carry 133 and he's drawn gate 10. So he's up against it, but his form, overall form's fantastic, and he looks a treat, so he has to go in. 4, 9, 7 and 1.
4 on top then, 9:30 about currently. The Wizard of Oz, John Size and Chad Schofield. There's another one of sizes 5 runners, DB Pin. Sylvester de Sosa in the saddle, and Fabulous One. He might be out in front, Brett. It's a great lineup, Brett, here for the Sha Tin Vase.
Thanks, Andrew. Yes, that it is. Handicap conditions. Because of that, I'm going to go with the 2 up-and-coming types here in DB Pin, who, if you go look at his form closely, it doesn't look dissimilar to what Mr. Stunnings did about 3 months ago. I think, obviously, toughest test today, but at the handicap conditions, I get the feeling he might be able to stand up DB Pin. So I'm going to go with him over Magic Legend. They're 2 horses on the rise. Mr. Stunning has clearly put the runs on the board of recent times, now on a rating of 128. But he's got the awkward barrier and all the weight to carry, but he's the class act, as was Werther in the previous. And then Sun Jewelry, we did hear from John Size discussing his chances. He thought he would run well. He's had some wind issues, this horse. They've been running him back over the sprint journeys. From barrier 2 today, he might be able to posse up a little bit closer, and a runner at a price I think has a little rough chance in the race. 7, 9, 1 and 5.
Thanks very much there for Brett. I'm going with the 9 Magic Legend. Barrier 1, he should be able to sit just behind the pace with 113 pounds on his back. It'll be a lightweight. He's only been beaten once since he's been in Hong Kong, and he had excuses on that occasion as well. To beat the Wizard of Oz, now, as Jenny said, he's got the fresh legs coming to this. He's going to come into this race 4th up, and which he'll be perfectly ready for. He'll be nice and fit. And from barrier 6, he can get a good run. So we've got 9 to beat 4. Mr. Stunning, obviously he's the class of the race, but the conditions are against him. And Fabulous One in for 4th, because I see him as the leader, and he's a hard horse to get past sometimes. So I think he can stay.
Win the 2 big ones this afternoon, Brett.
Thanks, Andrew. Yes, very interesting to see how he performs here. Coming in on a lightweight, DB Pin in the same category. John Size with 5 of the 10 runners here for the Sha Tin Vase. Amazing Kid still to move forward with Strathmore. Fabulous One, who of course returns from Dubai. Sun Jewelry to move up. DB Pin likewise. And the highest rated galloper in the race, Mr. Stunning. The market's got Magic Legend at 2.6, 3.2 for Mr. Stunning. DB Pin's down to 4.4, 9.1 about Not Listening to Me. Fabulous One, 66 down to 30. So the field for the Sha Tin Vase. Almost set to go. Fabulous One goes in. Mr. Stunning comes up. Werther, the dominant force in the Standard Chartered Champions and Chater Cup. This is the Sha Tin Vase. Stand by for a start. All loaded. Racing now, or DB Pin a little slow, as was Amazing Kids and Strathmore. Mr. Stunning snagged back. Magic Legend came out running, tested for the lead by Fabulous One. They've drawn a couple of lengths clear on Not Listening to Me, and Lucky Years powering forward from Sun Jewelry holding the rail. Then DB Pin, the Wizard of Oz, a touch deep. Strathmore's even wider going into the first bend. Then Amazing Kids and Mr. Stunning's back at the tail. Fabulous One established the front, slows the speed, leads by a half. Lucky Year in second. Not Listening to Me third. Magic Legend back of the speed. Strathmore's three deep, trailed by the Wizard of Oz. Then DB Pin from Sun Jewelry. Mr. Stunning as they are corner into the stretch. And last of all, Amazing Kids. Fabulous One still travelling sweetly. Lucky Year pours the pressure in. Not Listening to Me ranging up to make a line of three. Magic Legend's got a lift. Sun Jewelry bursting through. DB Pin wider out. Mr. Stunning closing from the back. Going to the lead. Not Listening to Me. Fabulous One. Lucky Year. They fight on. Lucky Year in front. Not Listening to Me. DB Pin surging wider out. Lucky Year. Callan Murray. What an unbelievable performance. Lucky Year. And a big prize has won from either DB Pin, the Wizard of Oz flew, Magic Legend, Sun Jewelry. Then Not Listening to Me, Fabulous One, Mr. Stunning. Followed then by Amazing Kids and Strathmore. Lucky Year from DB Pin. They're queued up for third. The Wizard of Oz perhaps over Magic Legend, Sun Jewelry, Not Listening to Me, Fabulous One, Mr. Stunning, Amazing Kids and Strathmore. One of the despised outsiders, Lucky Year. Callan Murray making a name for himself on the world stage. Danny Shum, the winning trainer, his 8th win. Lucky Year over DB Pin. Would not surrender. Racing now, or DB Pin a little slow, as was Amazing Kids and Strathmore. Mr. Stunning snagged back. Magic Legend came out running, tested for the lead by Fabulous One. They've drawn a couple of lengths clear on Not Listening to Me, and Lucky Years powering forward from Sun Jewelry holding the rail. Then DB Pin, the Wizard of Oz, a touch deep. Strathmore's even wider going into the first bend. Then Amazing Kids and Mr. Stunning's back at the tail. Fabulous One established the front, slows the speed, leads by a half. Lucky Year in second. Not Listening to Me third. Magic Legend back of the speed. Strathmore's three deep, trailed by the Wizard of Oz. Then DB Pin from Sun Jewelry. Mr. Stunning as they are corner into the stretch. And last of all, Amazing Kids. Fabulous One still travelling sweetly. Lucky Year pours the pressure in. Not Listening to Me ranging up to make a line of three. Magic Legend's got a lift. Sun Jewelry bursting through. DB Pin wider out. Mr. Stunning closing from the back. Going to the lead. Not Listening to Me. Fabulous One. Lucky Year. They fight on. Lucky Year in front. Not Listening to Me. DB Pin surging wider out. Lucky Year. Callan Murray. What an unbelievable performance. Lucky Year. And a big...
What a fantastic finish to the Sha Tin Vase, and the outsider Lucky Year gets here. Callan Murray on board. He's only been here a couple of weeks and picks up a group race here at any old price. DB Pin's run second. We're still waiting officially for the photo to come through. There's the Wizard of Oz in third, and then Magic Legend in there for fourth place.
He knows how to make an impact, this lad. First ever ride at Happy Valley was a winner the other night, and Group 3 here, only his third day as a rider here in Hong Kong, and he's got the job done.
He's done
Amazing
a great
stuff.
job. Yeah, from gate number 8, he got him into a beautiful position. He sat second there, and the horse on his inside, Fabulous One, was a little bit fired up and keen in the early stages, but this fellow was nice and handy, and he was able to sustain that good gallop in the end. Fantastic finish.
Well, it looks as though he's basically seen that Fabulous One has gone to the front, and then he's kind of slowed things down. The first section was pretty slow, and never ridden a horse in my life, but I suspect Callan's thought, well, maybe best if I just track this a little bit, get into a good prominent position, and give myself every chance, or the best chance possible.
A bit of hindsight, it might be in the omen bet for Callan as well. Yeah. The harder the work, you're lucky you get, but it's been an incredible year for him. 3 Group 1s on this, 3 Grade 1s on the same day in South Africa. He's here, he's made an instant impact. From a handicapping perspective, just lined up across the track. It was just as it should be in a race like that.
Yeah, look, it was a fantastic finish. You could have thrown a blanket over about 8 of those there, no doubt about it. But yeah, I'm really thrilled for young Callan Murray. He's only a young kid. It's a big assignment here. He's up riding against the Joe Marias, the Zach Purtons, all the best of here. And he's only been here 5 minutes, and he's really
$4. The trio, 3,945, and the TS wasn't bad, was it? $41,634.
Extraordinary performance, Paul. Can we attach any sort of hindsight to it at all as far as the form is concerned?
Well, they did finish in a bunch, didn't they? And Fabulous One did lead them up. I thought the horse that ran fourth, Magic Legend, he sort of got stuck in behind Lucky Year. Lucky Year definitely had the best run on him, so it was a good win from him. Just the handicap conditions did favour Lucky Year. He did come in with 115 pounds. And he won the race nicely. He's been a good money spinner for his owners up here in Hong Kong, and that's his 8th win from his 22nd start. So really good. Take nothing away from DB Pin. He pulled in the middle stages and still finished off the race nicely enough as well. The Wizard of Oz got a bit further back than he would have liked, I thought, and rattled home nicely there for 3rd as well. So all in all, it was a really good race.
Certainly was. And there is Callan Murray going through the formalities, and the other formality, or often a formality, Joe Moreira winning the Jockey Challenge, 46 points, and still a couple of races to come as well.
Well, he will have to go out and get the trophy there. That's what all the confusion is about, because he hasn't done that before, but he will go out and collect this beautiful trophy as well. Yeah, back to DB Pin. He was a bit slow out of the gates as well, so really he has gone particularly well. And the Wizard of Oz was very wide around the turn too, so he's gone particularly well too.
Seeing the photo for 3rd there, you can just see Joe Moreira right at the back of that shot on Mr. Stunning. He was matching strides with the Wizard of Oz, and then I think the weight just told halfway down the straight, and he's weakened out of it.
I think the concession of the weight to everything else has not been ideal for Mr. Stunning. He's not the biggest horse either, which probably doesn't help him either. This is the presentation party assembling for Lucky Year. Danny Shum, the victorious trainer. Callan Murray, just 20 years old, let's not forget. So he's in the very early stages of his riding career, but he's making quite a splash.
As the presentation is made, they have weighed in as well on 6, 7, 4 and 9 on the Sha Tin Vase, and quite possibly this will be the first of many trophies that Callan will be picking up here in Hong Kong.
I think that's not necessarily out of the question, is it? And trainer now getting a memento. Danny Shum, of course, former jockey here in Hong Kong many years ago, and now a pretty successful trainer. And here's the trophy as well for young Callan Murray, who's tall, no doubt about it. He might be struggling in a few years' time to do those really light weights, but he's definitely got a lot of the attributes a really good jockey needs.
Sun Jury was much better as well, Jenny. Hopefully they've worked out his problems.
He looks like he's back, doesn't he? That was a really good performance from him as well, finishing in 4th position there.
All right, here we go from the starts, and our winner, Lucky Year, coming out of barrier 8 and just moved along in the early stage there, red blinkers. Callan just sort of assessing where the speed's going to come from, and it came from Fabulous One as expected. Magic Legend, we know he's got plenty of pace as well, settles back on the rail, and the other pink jacket there is Sun Jewelry. Umberto on board, just he's 3 back on the fence at this point as they settle down, not listening to me, prominent as we expected. Strathmore coming a bit of ground, and DB Pin, who was slowly away, I'm not sure that was necessarily a bad thing in terms of getting him home. He's settled down just on the outside of Sun Jury, and the Wizard of Oz takes up a 3 wide position. Following those, Mr. Stunning and also Amazing Kids, who's last. 24.04 they were through the first split, so it wasn't lightning fast, but Fabulous Ones controlled this from the front. But Lucky Year just slingshots off the bend, not listening to me, still travelling well. Magic Legend looking for a gap, it comes. Sun Jewelry pulls out, DB Pin's had the perfect run. Here comes Mr. Stunning and the Wizard of Oz. They're matching strides at this point, but Mr. Stunning does weaken out of it. Amazing Kids trying to make up some ground. Strathmore can't, but this is Lucky Year. He just doesn't shirk the task at all and holds up some very good horses. They're a line across the track in behind, but he holds on in 109.27. And for a Group 3 triumph here, beating DB Pin, brave in defeats the Wizard of Oz, and then Sun Jewelry in for 4th.
Yeah, they've weighed in. 6 and 7 on the QP, paid $279. 4 and 6 paid $696, and 4 and 7 paid $89.50. Composite win there, paid $77. That was category A3. And the composite winning trainer, B3, the others, 136.50. First four dividend, 4, 6, 7 and 9, paid $1,460. Smell quite a good quartet coming here. $99,825. The double, races 7 and 8, 1 into 6, $1,728.50. The consolation, 1 into 7, $23. The old bus fare home. And the Jockey Challenge goes to Joe Moreira, 46 points, and he's still got 2 more rides to come, so no one can stop him winning, but he might just rack up another couple of victories on the way. Already had a very good afternoon. And the sectionals, 24.04, quite slow to the first call, 22.87, then 22.36, 1 minute 9.27 seconds.